Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Speak, the podcast for teens. I am your host, Emily Miller, Teen Intuitive. Okay, so this week we are going to talk about mistakes and how mistakes are actually perfect, and there is no such thing as a mistake. It's like a lie that we've been fed, that there are things that we do that are wrong. And if you think back to anything that I've ever said about Source and Higher Self, the one thing that they want us to always know is that everything that we do is perfect. Source and Higher Self created us from their ultimate perfection and made us perfect little human beings that are these just gorgeously organized balls of light. And we are so perfect. And Source and Higher Self always, and forever want us to know that. So whenever we have moments where we think, I should have done this differently, or I should have said this, or I shouldn't have gone here, I should have done something in a different way, like a shoulda, coulda, woulda, or a moment where you think, I wish it would have gone a different way. These are all moments that are communications to us, and what they're ultimately telling us is that we are just seeing ourselves in an out of balance way. And so every perceived mistake that we have, every time we think that we have made a mistake, it's our higher selves showing us ultimately our soul path, soul purpose. Because what it is doing is that it's revealing to us that we have these things, these ways that we're seeing ourselves out of perfection. And so whenever we see this, we need to recognize it. And then we need to understand that it's our higher self showing us where we think, and typically we're thinking about the same things kind of over and over again, where we think that we've done something wrong when we've actually done something really right, because what these mistakes show us is that we have a lesson to learn, basically. So the lessons, what these will show is your soul lesson and the one thing that you are meant to be here on this earth to overcome. So every mistake, everything that you think you should have done differently, every time you say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, it's a way for you to think, okay, what is this moment teaching me? What am I learning from this moment? How is it putting me closer to my soul pull, soul path? How is it giving me newer, bigger, better tools to navigate through this world in or with? And so these mistakes are actually gorgeous gifts. They are things from Source and Higher Self and the universe showing us, like, this is what you need. This is what you need to learn, and this is what you need to embody so that you can move along with your life and do all these really amazing things. So every single mistake that we have is ultimately preparing you to be the very best version of yourself so that you can be a life changer, so that you can get on this perfect path forward to creating the life that you want. And anytime that you are thinking that something should have gone in a different way, it's your sign that you are seeing yourself out of perfection. And Source and Higher Self, always and forever, want us to see ourselves as perfect, because we are. And these mistakes, these things that we think we shouldn't have done, or things should have gone differently, all it's giving you is an opportunity to shift out of that mindset of seeing something as a mistake and flip it and see, okay, this happened in perfect timing in the best way that it could have, because it's showing me this. So, or it's not, and also showing you things, but it's also giving you tools. It's giving you like upgrades for how you can be moving through this life, which is amazing. So I've been, for a decade thinking about and shifting the perspective that I've had of how, all of these things in my past, going all the way back to age 5, thinking, if they didn't go this way, then I would be living this totally other life. Like I would just be having this easy breezy storybook fairy tale life where nothing ever, had to go wrong. And if my parents hadn't gotten divorced, and if I never, had an experience where I was bullied, and if I never had experiences with, oh my gosh, there's just so many things. But you just go back into your past and you think, okay, well, I had all of these things that were so hard. And if I didn't have to experience all these things that were so hard, like the bullying, like the divorce, sexual assault, like there's a myriad of things. There's so many things that happened to me before even the age of 18. And if they didn't happen to me, if I didn't experience these things, if I didn't have the opportunity to go through all of this stuff in life, life might have been really easy, but also I would be living like a really mediocre life. I would be living this life where I was just kind of like breezing through and not having any amazing experiences, any awakening experiences, anything where I felt full, where I felt all the things. And that's literally why we are here as human beings, is to come back and have a life of all the emotions, all the experiences, all of these things, from literally everything from foods that we eat all the way to heartbreak, like from the smallest, tiniest things of having this, perfectly ripe strawberry that we get to eat, or having this experience of having this gorgeous, wonderful, like love of a lifetime where you get to, have all of these grand experiences. So if you don't have any things that you ever have to overcome in life, then it's going to be very mundane. And that's not what we came here for. We came here to like do it all. We came here to have all of these experiences. And if you don't ever experience a low, you will never know what a high feels like. And while we want to ultimately be able to experience like the source balance of everything, you have to be able to understand the polarities, the ups and the downs of life, the goods and the bads, and then be able to understand them. And if you never experience anything and everything is just like a coast, then that's what you will always experience. You'll never do something extraordinary. And so if I never had trauma to overcome, if I never had these crappy experiences to overcome, then I wouldn't be learning how to find the perfection in all situations. I would just, I don't even know how to, I would just be blah, blah, like I would just be there. And that's not what I want to do. And I know if you guys are listening to this podcast, that is not what you want to be doing either. You came here to experience this world, this life, and to have really cool things happen to you. Like, I know that. So finding this perfection and being able to do this has given me so much knowledge, so many tools, so many different ways to overcome so many different things. And because I was able to experience all of those things, especially at a very, very young age and early in life, then it gave me the background and the knowledge to know a lot of things that you guys are going through, to be able to understand where you're coming from and where you are in life and where you are in this world. And it also gave me the opportunity to get to where I am in my, spiritual knowledge and my understanding of universal laws and training my intuition and being able to dig and find the root of all of these traumatic things that I've gone through. And because I am able to figure that out for myself, I am then able to help you guys do it as well. And so now I'm here to be able to help you guys find these beliefs that you have about yourself that aren't true, and find these limiting beliefs that are keeping you from getting everything that you want, and being able to get to the root of the soul lessons or soul lesson that you are here to learn. And when we are able to get to the root of your soul lesson, to figure out what it is that you were put here to master, basically, the thing that you're supposed to be the best of the best at here on this planet. And if I can get you guys, or I should say when I get you guys to be able to find the root of this soul lesson, then you are able to be on your soul path much earlier in life. And what that allows you to do, and this is what I think is just the most amazing thing about all of the learning and the experiences that I've had, is it's going to get you to be able to be on your soul path and your soul pull, doing those things that you love, that thing that you are the expert for, the thing that you are so unique and special with, that you are here to be doing, to changing lives. Like, you are going to get to change lives at such an earlier age. And because you're starting at such an early age and you're getting all of this knowledge at such an early age, you are going to be able to then live the rest of your life knowing these things, learning your soul lesson, learning your soul pull, soul path, knowing why you are here, and then taking the lifetime that you have to do all the things. And that means that you get to change, hundreds or thousands or millions of lives in this lifetime. And with that, what you also get to experience, because you are changing lives and you have sources, energy and power behind you, what that allows you to do then is to live that life that you desire and that you deserve. It is going to put you in that spot at a much quicker place, because what you're learning how to do and what I'm giving you the tools how to do and empowering you to do is to know that, one, you have control over everything. You have the power within you. You don't need anybody else to do anything for you, because you are the one who has the power. So knowing that, and then secondly, knowing how the universe is communicating to you through your reflections, through these things where you think that you're having, mistakes or things should have gone a different way. So you are constantly through your body showing you, this is because you feel this way in your body, this is how you are feeling about yourself. So me being able to show you all the ways that the universe is constantly communicating to you. And so because you have control and the universe is communicating things to you, then what you can do is you can go in and shift them and you can learn the lessons. And when you learn these lessons at an early age, you get to bypass all the stuff. This allows you to bypass super awful sicknesses. This allows you to get to bypass, starting a multi-million-dollar company and then losing it all. You get to bypass all of those things. You get to bypass having horrible relationships that you could have if you didn't know these things, that you could have experienced abuse. You could have experienced infidelity. You could have experienced all of these things if you would have stayed on the path that you were on, thinking that was the only way to live your life, that I have to live this way because these are the cards that I was dealt and this is just what's here. But you don't think that, and different now, and you get to have it all. Like you actually do. There's all these people that are out there saying now especially they do it a lot with working moms. For some reason, they never talk about this with dads, but they'll say, can you have it all? Can women have it all? Can they be working moms? And can they have kids? And can they still be happy? Yeah, we can. We can do it all. We get to have it all. It is that easy once you realize that you have the control through your energy that you're putting out and understanding what you're putting out. And then if it's not the life that you want, being able to shift out of it and change it and create literally every single thing that you want in life. If you have the power to create the things you don't want, you 100% have the power to create the things that you do want. So when you understand you create everything, then that lets you know within you, because you create everything, you created the bad, now you can create the good. You are the one in control. And so knowing that these mistakes are just mistakes, I want to say in quotes, because they aren't mistakes. Mistakes aren't real. Mistakes are perfect and they are just lessons. So knowing that and understanding that allows you to be leaps and bounds ahead of all the other people in this universe who are out there struggling and trying to, do things, but they don't have the knowledge to understand that they have the power and that they have the control. So you just knowing that, just realizing that allows you to already be ahead of the game. So that is a really cool thing. Another thing I wanted to say about mistakes too is that sometimes we have the idea that something that we've done is a mistake because we have the thoughts, ideas, and beliefs of other people all in our heads. So just because you think something is a mistake, a lot of times you think, this was wrong because so-and-so has this expectation of me to do it in a different way. So when you have these, times whenever you're thinking it should have gone differently, that this was a mistake, you can also think, okay, what's the lesson I'm learning from this? What is the tool I'm getting out of this? How did this go exactly perfectly? And then you can also say, is this something that myself, my true self, my core self, is this something that I think is a mistake? Do I actually think it should have gone differently? Or is this something that I think is wrong because I think that somebody else thinks I should have done it a different way? So thinking about this maybe We'll do an easy example. At school, you get your project back and your teacher gives you a B plus, and you kind of start to go on a little spiral because all of a sudden, like you're normally, an A plus student, and now you've got a B plus, and now you're like, oh my God, my parents are going to be so upset with me. My teacher expects me to always make 100s, and now I've disappointed them, and now my parents are going to ground me because I should have had an A, and blah, da, 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 da. And you just go on this like mental spiral because of all the things that you think that other people are going to be thinking about what you did. When in reality, if you think about it, you just made a B plus. That's like a really good grade and something to be super proud of. And if I put my best effort forward, I did the best that I could for this, I made this gorgeous project and I'm really proud of it and it looks amazing and I couldn't have done any better on it. And you turned to that in and you were like, teacher, here's my best effort. And then they come back and they say, no, it's not. Here's your B plus. And then you're like, ugh, what did I do wrong? And in reality, you did nothing wrong because you put your best effort forward and you did exactly what you knew was best to do, especially in that moment. You did exactly what you knew what was best to do in that moment. You did everything in that time that you could have done to make it the perfect project. And so just because somebody else who has the red pen gets to say, oh, this was not the best, think about it and say, does their opinion really matter? I did the best that I could, and I love that project, and I did really great on it. So think about that too. Like, is it actually something that you think is wrong? And then maybe like another example. Let's say you go and try out for a sports team, and instead of making A team, you make B team. Well, have you ever played that sport before? Are you the best of the best at that sport? Do you care if you made A team? Like, are you going to have more playtime because you're on B team? Or, do you get to now hang out with your friends because you're on B team? Like, think about it. Are these things that happened the way that they happened, are they actually mistakes? Should they really have gone a different way? Or did they work out perfectly? And did you do the best that you could? And you believe that it's really, really good and that you did it exactly the way that you should have, and you're happy. You're happy with the results. And just because, your coach wanted you to, perform in a certain way, or the theater teacher put you as a supporting character rather than the lead, does it really matter? Like, you're on the cast and you're getting to do all these things, and you like the funny line that this person gets to say, and it gets to show off your comedic chops, whatever the thing is. Put it in a different perspective and think like, did I really do it wrong? What lesson am I learning? And was there actually a mistake even made? The answer is always going to be no. There's always going to be something really cool that happens as a result of whatever the thing is that happened. And so the last thing I want to say about this too with mistakes is a lot of times you think, okay, well, I made this mistake, and if I would have known this, whatever it is, then I wouldn't have made that mistake. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have made that mistake. But that's not true. Because you can never know different information than you had in that time. So every time that you have a situation that occurs, this mistake that occurs, you only know what you know at that point. And you couldn't have made that decision or moved in a different way because you didn't know any different at that time. So think about any time that you have a situation or circumstance where you're like, man, I should have done it different. Well, you couldn't have done it different. There's literally no way that you could have done it differently because you did it all with the knowledge that you had at that time, with the plan that Source and Higher Self made exactly for you in that moment so that you could experience it in the way that you experienced it and then learn the information that you got from it during that time. So there's so many different things to think about, these ways that you might be kind of beating yourself up and saying like, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but you couldn't have, you wouldn't have, and you shouldn't have. You did it all exactly the right way. It was perfect. Every move you make is perfect. See if it's something that somebody else had expectations of from you to do it in a different way. Realize you're learning gorgeous, beautiful lessons that are putting you directly on your soul pull, soul path even more quickly than any other people on this planet, because you know these things and know that you could not have done it in any other way. And it happened the way that it did, exactly the way that it did, on purpose. So think about this week. I want for you to think about how great, and also think about this, how gorgeous your creator field is going to be, the energy that you're putting out. If you know everything I do is perfect, what are all those people in your life going to see you as? Perfect. If they think every move you make is the exact right move, and they know that Emily never makes mistakes, then guess what? They're going to recognize that. They are going to treat you accordingly. You get that energy right back from them, and they see every move you make as perfect. So it's amazing. Like, I just love this idea so much because there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes in this world. Everything you do is perfect. So stop beating yourself up and playing over and over in your head, thinking something should be different than it was, because it's not, and it never will be, and it was a good thing. And so notice this week, as you are in your thoughts and in your head about stuff, what came up, that judgment basically that you had about yourself, what came up and why did I have it? And then think, what did it teach me? Are these my own thoughts? And remember that you can't, it couldn't have gone any other way. Okay? So this week, think about that. Get in your thoughts and start understanding that nothing you ever do is wrong. It's only an opportunity to grow. Okay? So have a gorgeous week, and I will see you next week with a new episode.